Good morning. Today is November 2nd at 8:02. 8:04, November 3rd. Wow. Holy moly. The days go by very fast. First thing I want to do is I want to comment on the video that I posted regarding what I really don't want to use words like crazy and insane anymore, knowing how much stigma and pain I've gone through being labeled as something that I'm not. I continuously have been labeled as something I'm not. I've been called a racist, I've been called insane, I've been called mentally ill, I've been called a stalker, I've called a harasser. You know what, I've been called a liar. But you know what no one has done? Disproven or stopped anything that I've tried to do without breaking the law and without lying. In order to stop me or go against me in court and beat me, you must break the law and lie. There is no possible way to do it. The reason why I say this is because right now, unfortunately, Jamie is extremely sick. She's been bedridden since Friday. When you saw her in the blue sweater, she had 102 fever, and I give her a lot of credit. But what it has done, it has shown me my abilities to work independently and how well I work actually alone and how fast I work. Now, unfortunately for me, there's a massive amount of responsibility that falls on Jamie's shoulders as part of the team. And irregardless to what anyone says negative about her, she's an extremely hardworking, dedicated, and intelligent human being who is beyond capable and has assisted me greatly. But without an office, without my records, without everything that I've done for the last 5 years when it comes to the courts and real estate, it is virtually impossible for me to succeed. So the people that are going against me, that have blocked me from doing my job, are the people that will suffer just as much as I will based on their responses. I'm still wearing my bracelet from when I entered and was released successfully from a mental hospital, and that is only because I am at such a frustrated point where I will submit the letters myself today. What you will hear is my words, purely my words. I simply ask that everyone is mindful of the fact that I've spent 24 days in county jail. I have been kicked out of my home. I have no records. I have no ability to actually fight the lawsuits that I'm going against. And I hope that my words are able to do something when it comes to just giving me a little bit of time. Oh, on some good news, I'm launching Microbank and Cash Cow today, meaning that I launched it a few days ago, 5 months technically, but I will be doing the actual automation process. So I'll go into what we do as a business. What is Microbank? What is the strategic advantage? Why would customers use it versus a regular pawn shop? And the reason is they wouldn't. It's not a pawn shop. It's a lending institution, education-based lending institution that also monetizes and creates a third-party evaluation for any asset class. So for example, if you want to sell your Rolex, you need to first have it authenticated as well as serial numbered in our database with a valuation. So in 10 years from now, all you have to do is punch in the numbers into a database and we will know the exact value of the market of the piece. That only happens when you go through the authentication process and choose to do it. That is one of dozens of services that Microbank offers. Sorry, I'm a little thirsty. Now, when it also comes to Cash Cow, my goal is to launch my first location in Phillipsburg. My goal is also to structure all of my brands under one umbrella. I've made a choice. I just want to make it a surprise of what I have chosen. What you will see is all of the projects that I'm currently working on, as well as the ones that I'm starting this week. I will do my best to write to the courts and plead with them again to do my job, which I'm not able to do, which I am being blocked from doing illegally. So no matter what anyone says, I assure you, it's just futile and exhausting, and I want to remind everyone I should not even have to be doing this. There's something called the prosecutor's office that should have done this for me years ago. so that I could just focus on my job and what I'm really good at, which is being an entrepreneur, commercial real estate, being a father, doing all of these things. But because of people's obsessions of my ability to do this, go on YouTube and speak the truth during a world of lies. We live in a world of lies. We live in a timeline where lies are rewarded. They are the core essence of a successful lawyer in today's society. The people that are going against me are flat out lying via declaration to the court that can be disproven with one testimony, which I'm blocked from having. So I will show you that in today's letters, I will limit them to 2 pages. I will not go overboard. As a matter of fact, I am the most prolific pro se filer in U.S. history that is non-frivolous. I am not this guy Mark Rich or whatever his name is that has the Wikipedia page about how insane he is about suing everybody without being involved in actual relationship with them. One of the things you have to understand is the people that I sue are people that I either have been with for decades or that are human beings that have defrauded me over the course of decades. This isn't a one and done. I have beef with local government, so I just randomly sue them. Please understand that we're talking about decades worth of data, merit, and everything you can imagine. So I just want, if anyone gives a shit, please understand that Jamie is beyond sick. When a human being is going through the stress that she's going through, she is also trying to do her best to work at my pace. I currently work 18 hours a day. That is because I am forced to do this in order to restore my life, just so I can actually do my job, let alone be successful at my job. The difficulties of waking up every single morning without your children after spending your entire life and their entire life with them is beyond difficult. No one understands the pain that I go through. It is okay. I know that no one gives a shit. No one understands the psychological torture that I've been a victim of for almost close to 6 years, legit. Before then it was a marriage, sort of. Please understand that this is all 100% real. I'm doing the best I can all around. I'm working literally 18 hours a week. You will see the production of my work over the next 2 weeks. Please understand that I can't just dump out motions that are incomplete, incoherent, lack the exhibits, lack the evidence, and are lies like my adversaries do. My adversaries produce content that has zero substance whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it's illegal to do the things that they're doing. Perjury is an understatement for what you're about to see today. And I just hope that everyone gives Ms. Resnick a chance to recover and give her a chance to be the mother that she is. I just want at this point for not prayer, but leadership of the town to step forward and say, this is a resident of the town, what is going on is wrong. The mayor of the town is a president of a temple who is okay with the mother being abused for a decade and a half by a full-blown alcoholic, who is a member of the zoning board, who is a good old boy. Please remember, the only thing that I'm doing is I'm speaking not behind people's backs like you do. I'm speaking openly. She is the victim of domestic violence, especially if you define it by the way that I'm being accused. She is beyond a victim. She has stayed silent up until she finally spoke in front of the town council. No one from the town has reached out to her. Not one person from the township of Livingston has reached out and said, Ms. Resnick, what is going on? How can we help you? This is so disturbing if you're a female that lives in Livingston, New Jersey. It is so disturbing because as a female, she is watching me, a man, being discriminated against and having his whole life destroyed because I came forward as a victim of domestic violence. Of course she's afraid to speak. You have no idea of the things that she was a victim of. Mallory and I do. We supported her. Mallory was a close friend of Jamie's. What is going on right now, and vice versa. Jamie did a lot more for Mallory than Mallory did for Jamie, yet a friendship's a friendship. I'm not here to judge that. What I am telling you right now is that you were so wrong if you are judging me based on the context of the information that you're getting from my ex-wife. If you're seeing video evidence that's been doctored, if you're seeing anything, please understand it's just lies. A human being can only sustain a web of lies for so long. My name is Dan Reese. I sure as shit am not Spider-Man. I am not a superhero. I was born with a genetic mutation. I was brought to this country. I speak a bunch of languages. I am hyper intelligent. I am extremely eccentric. I am non-violent. I am filled with love. I am polarizing, beyond polarizing. In the previous video, you see, in my opinion, a man who really needs some help. I shake his hand very politely. I walk in very politely. I do not cause a disturbance. I am here to do nothing more than to make sure that Ms. Resnick is not verbally assaulted, which happens all the time when I'm not present. As you saw, I was the one that was verbally assaulted. Even after the gentleman and I both agreed to call the police to mitigate the situation, he continued to yell at me and tell me to leave a space that I would leave the second that he could let me say one sentence regarding the service. That's what I'm trying to say. If this man reaches out to me, he knows exactly who I am, and says, hey, I want to be able to have a discussion about how we can resolve this issue, I have no problems with considering taking this video down, or even better, filming a rebuttal video showing how strong a character he is. But that's not what's going to happen. He's going to retaliate against me illegally through violence, through unlawful court filings, because he is an attorney, so I have to deal with that. And it's an endless cycle. So when the court looks at me and says, well, just communicate with counsel, counsel does not only not communicate. What you saw right there is an attorney that represents on a real estate transaction. I hired that man on behalf of a company that I thought I can trust my wife with. I made a huge mistake. My wife obviously came in, had a really nice conversation with that man, threw her hair around, played victim, and let's be completely transparent. There's no lawyer on earth that gets that emotional or being nothing more than introduced to. That was the first time I've ever met that man in my life. When I went to jail, that man and my wife conspired to sell a property that does not belong to her. He knows this because he's the lawyer of the transaction. I hired him. He also cut me out of the deal illegally because I was the one that hired him. Therefore, he needed to get a release from me as his original client. It was on behalf, yes, on a corporation, but there was no formal termination. There was no formal anything whatsoever. I still work for Drake Joint. I haven't quit. I haven't paid a penny. I've been paid a penny. I continue. I see that as an employee of the company has been destroyed by the owner via one social media post. What am I supposed to do as a human being who has, on a daily basis, woken up to a flurry of nothing more than lies and discreditations where my children are hung in the balance? If I'm found guilty of a federal law superseding a local law, meaning that everything that anyone says about me being silent or saying, and the best part about this whole thing is that what people are doing that are going against me is they continue to let me film content and then submit the entire content and saying, from this date to this date, this man filmed 24 videos. But in reality, they could easily contact me and say, we would appreciate it if XYZ is not discussed, and I would say yes, and I would appreciate it that I can go on with my life and actually be divorced without having someone completely delay every single step of the way because they're not happy with being dumped. So I have to deal with the fact that subpoenas are not compliant with. Communication is non-existent. I don't have my kids' cell phone numbers. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they dress like for Halloween. I don't know how disturbing this is to a normal person, but this should scare the shit out of you. That local government and bad actors are able to orchestrate a scheme to take away a father from two children. Please remember that maybe you have a negative opinion of me, but I'm an amazing cook. I love playing sports. I can teach my children 24/7. I teach them chess, I teach them languages. They hate all of it and try to deny it. I teach them cinema, I teach them art. I do everything I humanly can. I'm not a bad father. I'm a great father, great caretaker, and I could easily have joint custody, full custody, whatever you want. But you can't take my children away from me and expect me to stay silent. That is the most uncharacteristic thing about A man of code and honor. A man of code and honor will politely, civilly protest what is going on. And he would do it publicly instead of behind people's backs. And I'm sorry I'm overly emotional. That's one of the good things about Jamie being here, is that she's a reminder that there's a future of human beings that actually believe in love, logic, and kindness rather than absolute destruction. Please remember that nothing that the people that are going against me have done is positive. It's all negative. That's the whole point. I'm the only positive person. Today I have to present business concepts as well as a basic concept of what I invented. Let me stop it and I'll tell you an invention.